common. And we're on page 79 in the grammar book. So let's just get right to it. 79. Last time we saw each other was last year. It's been a while. Okay. 79. Oh, by the way, did you guys ever get to check out the link that I put in the stream on Google Classroom about the Schoolhouse Rock songs? Did you guys ever click on that yet? Not yet? Okay. You don't have to, but if your parents are okay with it, it's a collection of all the grammar songs in the link. And anyway, that's how I learned grammar when I was a kid, and they're catchy little songs and they're kind of funny. And
that's how I learned grammar too.
Oh, okay. So you've seen those before? The Schoolhouse Rock? Okay, good. So your parents probably have seen them.
What was your favorite one?
Man, they're all so good. Probably Interjections is one of my favorite ones. That's the one where, you know, interjection, and it's like da 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 da. And then the girl goes, wow, and she's looking at her report card. Do you remember that one?
My favorite
one is, go ahead.
My favorite is probably Conjunctions.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
What's your function?
Yeah, see? You got it now. And then you picture the train and the train things coming together, and then you see the words. You guys got to see it, Natalia and Jason. Check with your parents first, but click on that link. It's like from the 70s, you know, so it's like a long time ago cartoons, but they're funny, they're clever, they're catchy. You won't forget what these things are after watching that. Jason?
So I tried to watch the videos. I clicked on the link and access was denied because of the administrator.
What?
My school doesn't let me go to YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I can copy and paste the link in my normal account, which I haven't done yet.
Okay, try that. See if that'll work. Or you can borrow your mom's phone if she's okay with you using that to watch it. But the other one of my favorite ones is the preposition one. You remember that one, Ian? Busy prepositions, always on the go. And there are these little ants.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you guys have to see it so you know what we're talking about. Okay.
Wait, Jason, what school do you go to?
Heartland Charter School.
That's the same school I go to. I can still access YouTube though.
Okay, then something's wrong with my computer. I'll work on it.
You can access YouTube, Ian, on your school computer?
Yeah.
Because normally you can't. So I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
The administrator usually blocks it.
Oh, that's because I'm normally on my home account on my school computer.
That's what Jason was talking about too. You can log in on your home account and still watch it that way. That's probably.
Oh yeah, that's what I normally. I have you on my school. I have you on my home account.
Okay. Yeah.
So
that'll work. Okay, cool. Back to this, interjections. So that's what they are, and we'll let Ian sing it in a minute. They express an emotion, right? So like, wow, exclamation point, exclamation point, or sometimes it's called a mark, right here after that. And then he hit the bullseye. He hit the bullseye. Woohoo! And so it's like an expression. So we use the exclamation point there or mark. And usually it comes with like, watch out, or no way, or oh my gosh, or yikes, something like that. Okay. Where it's an expression. Could be a calm expression like this one. That would be also an interjection. It's not a strong emotion. It's like somebody's thinking, he still has one arrow. Okay, that's another way to express something. So an interjection could be something loud and like shocking and something like that, or it could be something calm like this. Ian, did you want to say something?
in onomatopoeia?
Onomatopoeia here. That's when you have
the expression, right?
Onomatopoeia, I think, is when it's like repeating. Yeah, I guess you're right. That is onomatopoeia. I forgot about that one. Let me look that up really quick because I thought it was like if it starts with the same letter over and over again, but maybe that's something different. Onomatopoeia. It's from a sound, like sizzle. So those are sound words. So that's a little different.
Yeah.
Or bark, because that's a sound of dogs and stuff like that, or meow, things like that. A little different, but anyway, capitalization, capitalize an interjection when it is the first word of a sentence, capitalize a word that follows the exclamation mark. You guys already know that because at the beginning of the sentence, it's always capitalized. And then in this book, you're going to label them with INT, which means interjection. Okay, so when you see it, put INT on top of it. Look at the example in the middle of this page. Yikes, he killed the king's deer. So that word yikes is an interjection. They just put INT there for interjection. Okay, and then of course the exclamation mark and then capitalizing after that for the next sentence. Now we're going to talk about imperative sentence or implied subject. An imperative sentence gives a command or makes a request. A lot of times this is in a quote. When someone's speaking, they speak like this. Every verb has a subject, a noun or pronoun that performs the verb action. However, the imperative sentence does not have a written subject. Rather, the subject is implied. Basically, it's like it's invisible in the sentence. You don't see it there, but you know it's there. Because commands are always directed towards someone or something, the subject of an imperative sentence is always you. So you're going to read the sentence and look for the verb and ask who or what. If the sentence forms a command, the subject is you, even if it's not there. Okay, we'll look at that in a second. Write you in parentheses to show the subject, and then write V above each verb and S above you. Okay, so look at this sentence. Pretend you don't see you yet. The sentence is step up to the mark. It's a command. It's somebody saying that. Step up to the mark. And it's probably talking to Robin like he's getting ready to shoot the arrow, right? The verb is step. And if you ask yourself, who step up to the mark? Well, it's not there. So you have to actually write it in, you. Because it's a command. It's directed to whoever they're speaking to. So you step up to the mark. You becomes the subject. So when you write it in, you're going to put you in parentheses like this. And then S above it for subject, okay? I know that's kind of new to you, but the more you practice it, you'll start to see it. Jason, did you have a question? Or something to say?
Yeah, do we need to capitalize the U?
No, you don't.
Okay,
Obviously
thank
here
you.
it's lowercase, so you're not actually changing the sentence. And that's a good question because later, you know how you write it again at the bottom? You don't include you. Okay, you're gonna just know that it's implied, which means it's like, that's what they mean. And you're just putting it in there so you can label it subject, but it's not really part of the sentence. Good question. All right, you guys, go ahead and I think there's a little more on the back here. This is page 80 on the back. We've been talking about homophones off and on for a while. Here's another one, whose. So basically there's two ways to spell whose, and it's up here in this first little paragraph, WHOSE, and then WHO apostrophe S. They both are whose, but they mean different things. So whose, WHOSE, is a possessive pronoun. Whose arrows? The arrows belong to whom? Whose arrows, they belong to whom? Okay. The relative pronoun whose functions as a possessive adjective and begins a who which clause. So now you can use whose or whom in a who which clause too. If you wanted to in your writing, that works too. Whose with an apostrophe is a contraction. Who is? Who's tired? Who is tired? Okay. So remember that with the apostrophe, that'll help you remember that one. Who is? The contraction whose is a shortened form of who is and functions as the subject pronoun who and the verb is of the clause. Place a line through the incorrect homophone and write the correct word above it. Here's your example. Whose bow is this? Who's ready to shoot next? So you can see how they changed it. Because whose bow is this? It's like the bow belongs to who? Whose? Whose? It's not who is bow is this. That doesn't even make sense. And then who's ready to shoot next? Who is ready to shoot next? All you're doing is drawing a line through it and writing it correctly above it. Okay, let's go to the practice page. Does anybody feel like reading it today? This is 81. Any volunteers? Okay, I'll read it today. Go back, sir, demanded Robin rudely. The one who's the better man should cross first. Ooh, it sounds like a challenge to me. Rudely, that's pretty obvious, right? That's an ly adverb. And it is being rude. Kind of obvious. Demanded rudely. Articles, you know what to do here. Go ahead and find the two and label them by yourself. Jason, what about the pronoun? Where's the pronoun here? It's kind of tricky. This is, by the way, before you even say it, this is difficult. I'm going to tell you right now, I did this the other day with another class, and this is a hard page, okay? So don't feel bad if you're confused. Go ahead, Jason. Sorry about that.
My best guess was man.
No, not man. That would be
Then
a
sir.
noun. No. So
No.
it's actually the one who's the better man. So one is referring to somebody else. So actually it's one. That's a tricky one. The one, so we don't know who that is, but it's referring to somebody else. Okay, so those are good guesses though, Jason. I'm telling you, this is a hard one. The next thing we got to find are the nouns. So let's see, Ian, where are the nouns at?
Here. Um, back,
No, remember nouns are person, place, thing.
place, or thing. Robin,
Robin is one.
man,
Yes.
uh, uh,
It's actually sir.
oh,
Sir is another one too. So those are the
because
three.
it's a person,
Yeah.
but
So-
it's describing the person. So,
Yeah, but sir is a person. It's not describing him. It is like ma'am, sir, and ma'am. They're not pronouns, they're not adjectives. Those are nouns, actually.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that. And then let's see, Natalia, what about the adverbs? There's three of them. One of them is pretty obvious, but then there's a couple others that are a little trickier to find.
Demanded,
No, that one's going to be a verb. So look for it. The obvious one is an ly adverb. Do you see that one?
rudely,
Yeah, rudely is one. Now, for the other ones, I'll give you a clue. We have the verb go. Go where? What word would
back,
tell you? Yeah, back. So back is actually an adverb because it's telling you where. Okay. And then if you look at, we probably should have found the verbs first. That might have helped. This verb cross cross when?
First.
Yes, there you go. Let's look for the verbs next. I think that's going to help us out a little bit. So Jason, look for what are the verbs here, the action words or helping or linking verbs?
I'm gonna guess go.
Go is
Wild
one.
guess.
Yep. Wild guess. Well, you got lucky on that. Go is a verb. What else?
I assume better.
Not better.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Should?
Should is a helping verb. It's helping this verb.
Yeah, so that's a verb also.
Cross. Okay. And then there's another one. What did Robin do rudely?
Demanded.
There you go. Demanded. And then, well, we have to fix whose first, and then you'll see that that's also a verb. So how should we spell whose here? It should be the one who is the better man. So whose, how do we spell that, Jason?
W-H-O apostrophe S.
There you go. So then who also becomes a verb here. I'm sorry, not who. I messed up. Sorry, guys. Is. Who is the subject? Durr. Is the verb. That is a linking verb there. Okay, so I think we got all the verbs now. Now let's look for subjects, Ian. So think about who is saying these things, who are doing these things. So who says, this is tricky. Go back, sir. It's a command.
Go.
No, because that's a
No.
verb. This is actually an implied subject. Remember we talked about that in the lesson earlier, the implied subject.
Is it sir?
No, it's you. Remember how we're going to add this?
Yeah.
Sir, it's a good question, but sir is who he's talking to, but that's not the subject. The subject is here. So go ahead and put in parentheses you. That's implied. It's not there. When you rewrite it later, don't put you. Okay. It's just an implied subject. All right. How about here? Who demanded rudely right here?
The man?
No.
Oh, Robin.
There you go. Robin's the subject there. Good. Let's see. We have a who clause here. Let's find that really quick. Ian, where's the who clause? Where does it starts with whose? See it here?
Yeah.
Where does it end?
It ends at first.
Not all the way. It ends on the noun.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So it's who's the better man? Now there's a subject within that who clause. Where's the subject here? It's going to be who. Who is the subject? Who's the better man? And then Ian, how about look at outside of the who clause? The one should cross first. So should cross, who should cross first?
You.
Well, you isn't there. Look at this
Me.
sentence. The one. The one should cross first. So the subject is actually one. Okay, I told you this is a tricky one. The one should cross first. Who's the better man? And then you go back, sir. So yeah, it's kind of like all over the place in this one, but okay, I think we got it. So we got subject and verb, we got the who, which clause. Now we're looking for main clauses, Natalia. And there are 3 main clauses.
You go back, sir.
Okay, you're close. You go back. It's going to stop there at back. Sir is separate than that. Okay. So the actual main clause is go back or you go back. Okay, what else? There's two more.
The one who's the better man should cross first.
Yes, that's another one. Good. One more.
And Sir demanded Robin rudely.
Just demanded Robin rudely. We're going to leave sir out of the main clauses. Good. Okay, this was tricky. Capitals, Jason.
Go,
Good, go. I'm out of room, so I'm going to kind of do it to the side there. And what else?
Robin,
Good,
and
good. There's a comma rule, Ian. Do you know, do we need to put a comma in or take a comma out?
Take a comma out.
Actually, we're putting one in.
Oh,
And it's going
I
to go
knew that.
right here. Go back, comma, sir. So we're putting that one in there. We're going to leave that other comma there. Go back, sir. And then what goes at the end, Natalia?
Period.
A period, good. And when you go to rewrite this, the period goes on the inside of the quotation mark, okay? On the inside. And then we already fixed the homophone there. Phew, that was a tough one. Skip around in the list if you need to, if that helps you when you go to do your homework, okay? Any questions about this practice page? No, you're good? Okay. All right, we're done with the grammar. Put that away. Okay. Next is the binder. Now, we did some rearranging last year before we went on our break. So you should have in the front pocket of your binder, Mike the Headless Chicken. You guys have that in there? Remember Mike? Poor Mike. Oh, Mike. Did we finish that? I have notes here.
Yeah, we finished it, I think.
I don't think we finished it. I think we did one paragraph that's supposed to turn into 3 eventually.
Is this what you guys have? Yeah, okay, good. Nice try, Ian. He's like, I think we finished it. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Let's see. Well, this one says, yep, this is the one. Okay, cool. Well, one of my classes, we did finish it, so. All right. Go ahead and get this out then and get out all the other pages for Mike the Headless Chicken. And let's refresh our memory on what we're talking about here about Mike. Because, you know, it's been a little while. I'm just going to kind of read it through really quick. I know we already read this, but this will get it in our head a little better. Mike the Headless Chicken. On September 10th, 1945, Lloyd and Clara Olson of Fruita, Colorado were killing and processing chickens to take to the meat market. One of them was a 5.5-month-old Wyandotte rooster. The chicken squirmed, and Olson's axe failed to make a clean cut, removing the bulk of the head but missing the jugular vein and leaving most of the brainstem and one ear intact. Surprisingly, the headless chicken was still able to walk. It attempted to preen, peck for food, and crow, although its crowing was more of a gurgling sound from its throat. It was placed in an old apple box for the night, and when the bird was still alive the next morning, Olson took it to town with the rest of his carcasses. He started betting people that he had a live headless chicken. Gradually, word spread around town, and eventually a local newspaper came to interview Olson. news reporter, came to interview Olson. Lloyd and Clara had begun to care for the bird, feeding it a mixture of milk and water with an eyedropper and giving it small grains of corn. 2 weeks later, a sideshow promoter named Hope Wade visited the Olson farm with a proposition. Take the chicken on the sideshow circuit. It was the 1940s and the farm was struggling, so Lloyd thought, might as well. First, they took the rooster to the University of Utah in Salt Lake City, where scientists did some testing and verified that, yes, indeed, this was a living, breathing, but headless animal. Life magazine published an article on Miracle Mike the Headless Chicken, as he had been named by Mr. Wade. Then Lloyd and his wife and Mike began a tour of the country. They visited California and Arizona, and when the Olsons had to return to harvest their crops, Hope Wade took Mike on a tour of the southeastern states. People paid 25 cents to see this remarkable sight, and it was estimated that he earned for his owners as much as $4,500 in a month. In the spring of 1947, the Olsons again took Mike to Phoenix, where one night in a hotel room, they were awakened by the sound of Mike choking, his throat filled with mucus. Normally, they would have cleared this with a syringe, but unfortunately, their feeding supplies were left at the sideshow location, and they were unable to find an alternative for Mike before Mike suffocated and died. His grandson stated that for years, he, Lloyd, would claim that he had sold the chicken to a guy in the sideshow circuit. I think he didn't ever want to admit he screwed up and let the proverbial goose that lays golden eggs die on him. Olson never told anyone what he did with Mike's dead body. How did a chicken live for 18 months with no head? Dr. Tom Smulders, a chicken expert at Newcastle University, explained that there is very little brain in the front part of a chicken's skull. It is mostly concentrated at the back. He estimates that while the beak, face, eyes, and an ear were removed with the hatchet blow, as much as 80% of the brain remained, including the parts that control heart rate, breathing, mobility, hunger, and digestion. It seems that in Mike's case, the hatchet came in exactly the right place, and a timely blood clot prevented him from bleeding to death. Others have tried to replicate the Olsons' accidental and remarkable decapitation, but no one has yet succeeded, and the wealth that Mike brought the Olsons was short-lived. Although they were accused of getting filthy rich, their grandson affirms that while they did get a new tractor and a new car out of it, they continued to eke out a living on a farm for the rest of their days. Since 1999, each year around the end of May, the town of Fruita holds an annual Mike the Headless Chicken Day celebration with themed events such as Run Like a Chicken, a headless chicken, 5K race, pin the head on the chicken, egg toss, and chicken bingo, a game whereby the numbers are determined by chicken droppings falling on a numbered grid. Peep and wing eating contests, live music, and artisan booths make this a memorable weekend for old and young alike, while commemorating the remarkable story of one chicken's will to live. It's a true story. I think we looked at a picture last time, but okay, you remember. Yeah, it's a true story. So going back now to our notes here, we did kind of come up with the first paragraph. I don't think you guys wrote this yet though, right? You didn't write the paragraph yet, or did you? Did you guys actually write the first paragraph? I don't think you did yet. We just have it ready to write. So what we're going to do today is work on 2 and 3. And then you guys are going to rewrite this as a report about Mike the Headless Chicken, okay? So we talked about their, the owners. Hold on, there's another note page. I'm missing something here. Hang on a second. Did we put it on the back? No. Hold on a second. Because I think we talked about possible topics, didn't we? Maybe I don't have that. Let's see. Huh. Anyways, my notes are not fantastic here. Do you guys have a page that shows possible topics about Mike the Headless Chicken? Or no? No, okay. So let's turn this over to the back. Let's make a list. At the top on the back here, I want you to just write possible topics and just underline that. The other thing I'm going to have you do is kind of label your paragraphs. Did you guys write anything in the margins on here? Do you have, Natalia, do you guys have anything written in the margins on your article? Like any notes? Okay, so that's where we left off. It was a while ago. I couldn't remember. So here's what we're going to do. When you do a research paper like this, or it's more like a report, you're trying to find your topics. Remember, your topics are your paragraphs. Okay, this is what your paragraphs are going to focus on. So what we can do really quick is jot down in here what each one of these paragraphs focuses on. This one up here is talking about mainly, let's put owners in the margin and then the accident. That's basically what that first paragraph is talking about. Owners and then comma accident. Okay, you can just kind of write it on the side there. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is talking more about like his abilities right here. He's still able to walk, preen, and blah, blah, blah. And then they take care of how they take care of him. So these are like his abilities and care, how they cared for him, feeding him a mixture of milk. So we're basically labeling each one of these paragraphs so that when you go back to write it, you know where to find this information. Then we get into this part down here where it's kind of talking more about the sideshow and how he became famous. So I'm going to put fame and then the word sideshow over here. What I'm doing is labeling these paragraphs, like, see what I'm doing here? This one's mostly about abilities and care. This one's about his fame and the sideshow. This is also like that. So both of them are going to be about the fame and sideshow. So you can kind of do an arrow like that. This next paragraph, go ahead and turn it over to the back here, is talking about how he died. So we can put death here for this paragraph. That one's mainly talking about how he died. This is just giving more information about after he died, because his grandson never really admitted it. Put another bracket there. This one's kind of talking about both. And then this is talking a little bit more about like what happened to him. This is talking about like still like his abilities, like he was still able to breathe he was mobile because part of the brain was still intact. He had hunger and digestion. So this is talking about, oh, sorry, my light is, I put abilities right there. Abilities. This paragraph is talking about some people tried to replicate it. Let's put wealth because it's kind of talking about their wealth, the money that they earned. Ooh, excuse me. And then, of course, here the celebration and the festival. Let's put the word celebration. I think that's what they call it, celebration, if you can fit it in there. Okay, so when you're doing research or when you're writing a report, it's always good to kind of see what are these paragraphs talking about. And by the way, these become possible topics. So now that you wrote that down, go back to your notes page and let's just make a list. So that first paragraph, we put owners and then slash accident. And then we talked about abilities slash care, fame. I'm making a list slash sideshow. I'm basically copying down those things, how we labeled each one of those paragraphs. Death. More about abilities. Wealth, I think, because that one paragraph that talks about the wealth, that could kind of fit with this one, actually. Those kind of go together, the fame, sideshow, and wealth. And then we've got the festival slash celebration at the end. Okay, so those are possible topics. Remember, the possible topics, these topics are paragraphs. You're writing 3 paragraphs. You guys already wrote about the owners in the accident, so you can put a check by that one. We already did that one. So we need 2 more topics to write about. We can pick, and there's 4 left. So you guys can decide what 2 topics you want to write about next. If we can decide together as a class, then we can finish up this part of the assignment in class. So we could possibly combine a couple of these things. Like we could combine his abilities and fame and then combine the death and then what happened after his death. We could kind of make those combined together. That way we're kind of covering everything. But remember, what you're doing is summarizing. And we talked about that before, where you're just telling part of the information. You're not telling every single thing. But okay, let's see how we can get through this. Let's focus on abilities and care and how he was part of this sideshow and how they made money off of him. So looking at Roman numeral 2 here. Let's put M for Mike, right? Abilities. Which we kind of talked about here. He started walking. Abilities, fame, and then the sideshow. So that's the topic for this paragraph. Now, when you go to write this paragraph, you don't have to use these words. This is just introducing this paragraph. So rearrange this however you need to make it flow. But this is the topic of this paragraph here. So when we look for information to put in our outline, you're going to look at those paragraphs that are labeled abilities or care and fame and sideshow and all that. Okay, so let's look at these two paragraphs here. So I'm going to start with Jason. And you can mix, it doesn't have to go in the same exact order as this article, but looking at these two paragraphs, and I think, was there any more on the back? Let me just double check here. Yeah, a little bit here on the wealth. So look at these two paragraphs about the fame and the sideshow, and then the wealth on the back. What could we add to our outline here, Jason? What's something we could talk about?
I accidentally got behind, so I'm still trying to write down the owner's accident, abilities, and care on the.
Oh, I'm sorry.
sorry.
Did I go too fast?
No, I somehow misplaced my papers. I have them now.
Okay. Do you need me to show you, or
Is
do you
that all right?
need me to show it to you again?
Please.
Are you talking about this part here on the side?
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. We'll come back to you, okay? You can write that down. Let me know when you need the back side and I'll show it to you.
All right, thank you. Sorry.
You're welcome. It's okay. Ian, how about you? What is something about their fame and sideshow? Like, how can we introduce that part in the outline?
What?
Okay. I'm on page 77. Are you looking at page 77?
Of what?
Oh my goodness, Ian, where have you been? Are you doing something on your computer right now? We're on the article called Mike the Headless Chicken. This is page 77. You should have it in front of you.
Yeah.
Okay, did you write this down in the margin? Did you write this, Ian? Okay, whenever I do something on the screen, you're supposed to be doing it with me, okay? So you should have these words down right here. This first paragraph, you should put next to it owners and accident. The next paragraph should be abilities and care. So I think you were distracted by something on your computer. So make sure you're just focusing on me during class. So my suggestion is we move into this person, Hope Wade, who helped them get involved in the sideshow. Okay, so that's what I think we should put next here. So let's put for number 1 here, Hope Wade. And he was a sideshow promoter. Sideshow is one word, and then promoter. Go ahead and write this down, Ian, okay, on your outline. Hope Wade, we're going to count as one word because it's a name, comma, sideshow, comma, promoter. He's the one that introduced the Olsons to the idea of going in the circus. Did you already get all this, Jason, on this side? Yeah, you're good. Okay. I'll turn it over to the back for you here real quick. This is on the back, Jason. Okay, so death are these two paragraphs, abilities, wealth, and then festival celebration.
All right, I'm caught up. Thank you.
Good. Okay, you're welcome. So let me ask Natalia, at this sideshow thing, how much did they charge for people to come and see the mic? Do you remember on that page? It's page 77.
25 cents.
25 cents, yes. So people came to pay. So I'm going to put people pay 25 cents to see, and then I'm going to put M. Okay, people pay or paid, I guess we should say past tense, P-A-I-D. People paid 25 cents to see M, to see Mike. How much money did they make in a month, Jason? Do you remember that part? It's on the bottom of page 77.
4,500.
4,500, and that's a lot of money. But back then in the 40s, in the 1940s, that was a lot of money back then.
It was like 40,000, I believe.
Like 40,000 or even more than that. So we could put earned $4,500 in a month. He got famous, right? Because we got to talk about how he got famous too. So what's another thing that happened, Ian? Look at page 77. Did you find that page? Okay. Down here in this paragraph, not the very bottom, but in this paragraph right here, what else happened that made him famous? Other than the sideshow, what else happened? That made him famous?
Life magazine posted
Yes.
an article.
Yes, yes, exactly. Good. So let's put Life magazine. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that magazine, but that's a very popular one, especially before we had internet and all that. And then they had an article in there about him. So Life magazine article. And they went on this tour, right? They went on a tour of the country. And in California and Arizona. Let's see, we decided to combine abilities and fame and sideshow. Maybe we should, I forgot to talk about more about his abilities. What we talked about that he was able to walk. What are some of the other abilities that he was able to do?
Breathe and eat.
Breathe and eat, good. On the back there, we marked this one as abilities too. He had a heart rate. He was able to, his
Walk.
heart was working. So let's put breathe and eat and crow, right? Let's put breathe, eat, and crow. And I'm actually going to draw an arrow up here because I forgot to put that in there. I think we should mention that first. Because he was able to breathe and eat and crow, and he was able to walk around, which we mentioned right here, then we moved into how he became famous in this sideshow. Okay, Jason, did you have a question?
No, just a minor comment. I wonder if this chicken was like suffering all the time.
It's hard to know, huh? I agree. It's hard to know because it's not a good quality of life. Poor guy. So I don't know, but chickens don't really have much of a brain anyway, so they don't reason and have feelings like we do. But I wonder that too. I guess we won't ever know that. All right, so we finished the outline for number 2. We need to move on to number 3. And topic number 3.
Hey, I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay. We're going to focus on how he died and then the celebration that they have now for Mike the Headless Chicken Day. So maybe for number 3, let's put how he died. And now that we have a celebration. Who can tell me how he died? How did he die? Jason?
He suffocated after not getting enough food.
Yeah. He suffocated in the night and they didn't have what they needed to help him survive. Remember that part where it talks about they woke up and they heard him choking? So Olson's woke M choking. Oops, that doesn't have a C. Sorry, it's just CHOKING. So Olson's woke up to Mike choking.
That they were probably really scared for Mike because that was their like really big source of income.
Yes, exactly. You're right, Jason. It's kind of a selfish thing, really, to have him stay alive like that, but you're right. That's how they made some money. Obviously, they didn't do it on purpose, though. It was kind of a freak accident.
A 1 in a trillion accident.
Right? I'm gonna
They
put
tried to do
Marcus.
it on. If
Huh?
they tried to do it on, if they tried to do it on purpose, they probably wouldn't have been able to
Yeah.
done it.
Yeah, because the article did talk about how other people tried to do it so they could make money too, and they couldn't
That's
do
a
it.
controversy that's in here. Other people tried to do it. Imagine how many suffering chickens there are.
Exactly, Jason. It's exactly right. They didn't have the syringe. So there's this tool you can use to get, like, for babies and stuff, to get mucus out of their throats, and that's what they were missing. They didn't have that tool to help him survive. So poor guy just couldn't get enough air. The word is syringe. I'm going to put syringe and then I'm going to put a circle around it and a line through it because that's what they didn't have. It's SYRINGE, syringe. So now we can kind of move into the celebration day. And they have it, how many times a year do they have this celebration day?
I think once.
Once a year, yeah. So annual celebration day. And then what are some things, Natalia, what are some things that they do on that celebration day? This is where you can just
They
make a
do the 5K chicken race,
Mhm.
head on the chicken, pin the head on the chicken, egg toss, and chicken bingo.
Yes. Good. So obviously we can't fit all of that on one line, but we could pick a couple of those things. Like 5K race. We could put pin head, pin the head on the chicken. And then it talks about the remarkable story of one chicken's will to live. That would be kind of a fun way to wrap it up. I like that word commemorating. That's a good word, commemorating. It's basically making it like a symbol. Will to live. I kind of went fast on this. Sorry, guys. I just want to make sure to have you finish this before class was done. That way you're ready now for your homework, okay? So we got these and we basically looked at those paragraphs that had each one of those topics. Now you're going to use this outline right here to write your report on Mike the Headless Chicken. So your homework is to write all 3 paragraphs. You're ready now. You've got everything here. And let's take a look really fast at your checklist, because we still have on here the topic clincher. Okay, that's important to remember. The first sentence and the last sentence of each paragraph. By the way, we wrote that here on your notes, topic clincher, topic clincher, topic clincher, because you need to have it on each paragraph. Repeat or reflect. Repeating means the same word. Reflecting means almost the same word in the first and the last sentences of each of your paragraphs, okay? And you need to highlight if you're typing or bold those words. Don't underline them. Highlight or bold. So make sure you include that. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 dress ups. Make sure you include those. And then do not use these banned words. By the way, eat ate is on here, and you might be tempted to use that when you're talking about how he ate. So don't use eat ate. Don't use go went when they're talking about touring the country. You're gonna have to say traveled or journeyed or something like that. Okay, you guys, do you have any questions about the homework? Use this checklist. Use this checklist because this is how I grade your work, okay? I'm gonna start taking off points if you don't follow this. So make sure you have this with you as you're writing your paragraphs. All right, you guys, good job. I will see you next week. Have a good one.